Welcome back. Stop letting food ads control you. This is something that came up. I was talking online with someone to help them understand the process of food advertisements and how it can affect your daily health habits and choices. The question I was asked: how does one make sure our cravings are not tricking us due to advertising influence? And this is a good question. The American Heart Association in 2016 said that food, beverage, and restaurant companies spent approximately $13.5 billion in media advertising. Um, Food ads are one of the situations that contribute to wanting a food. And if you aren't mindful of that, you could end up making choices that you are not aware of or more with more urgency than you had originally planned. So the questions: how to stop food cravings, why do I sometimes suddenly crave sugary or salty foods or drink way more water than usual? What we want to do is address that so you can become confident in your ability to manage your choices regarding your food and life, build the lifestyle and the body that you want. Welcome. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance, where I build adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. And this is exactly what I talk about in the Guilt Free Game Plan. It's the most compassionate way to break down your weight loss and business goals into actions that you can take today. The overall goal is to create mindful systems that let your health support your life. I use positive behavior support as a way to look at your environments, your choices, and the consequences of them, so you can feel confident in the choices that you're making. Right? If you don't have a process that's similar to this that helps you understand what happens, you'll get stuck. You might feel mentally weak if you can't make choices. You don't understand why you do the things you do, what's influencing it, and how to make healthy choices more sustainable for yourself. So it's useful and valuable to use this kind of breakdown process that I'm about to show you right now. All right. So what we want to do when we think about food ads, stop letting the ads control you, is be thoughtful, not hypnotized or automated like a robot or simple like a fish, right? You want to think about what media you're consuming and how it affects your life. This is probably the first part. Most people, when it comes to TV, commercials, Netflix, their whole lifestyle is just like automatic. You don't really consider you there's an unconsciousness around it, and you end up just doing things or responding to stimuli instead of considering and directing your life towards what you want for yourself. You are the executive in your life, so you want to make sure that you're making the calls and not just like, oh, pizza on TV, order, get it, eat it, right? You have to break it down and understand what's going on. And so now we can look a little bit more into advertising and what it does. Not that I'm an advertiser, but I advertise for Fit for Freelance, but in general, thinking about this process of what they want you to do or what they're trying to influence is a very valuable thing. So you can think about the choices that you want to make accordingly. All right. So good commercials and stories stay top of mind and become factors in your decision moments. So what I want you to do to be thoughtful about this is watch commercials as an interested consumer and watch how advertisers are communicating with you. They're almost having a conversation with you that you didn't really ask for. You were trying to watch the game, but now you have a commercial telling you to buy something or why you should buy something. But if you look into it more carefully, you can understand what they are signaling and then understand how that affects what you want to do and the choices you make. All right. Look at how they are using story to tell you about their brand. And you can even do this when you're watching YouTube. A lot of times the creators are trying to promote a message or have some kind of story that they are telling you about. So me, I'm trying to help you take confident ownership of your path to freedom and fitness. And I'll literally tell you that all day. But think about this when you're watching advertisements as well. Okay, that's what marketing does. Senses, when it comes to food commercials, they are probably trying to tell you things about what their food does, the experience of it, how cheesy or saucy or delicious it is, how convenient it is. You can order it on the app and make it super easy, or the value. If you buy this, you'll get this for free or get something else for half off. These are the kind of marketing messages that they're sending with the commercial. So see if you can identify these. Something to point out when you're looking at those senses and they give you like that, like snap a taco in half and stretch out the cheese. Some of those things are not actually the foods. Did you know this when you actually get the foods and you're like, this does not look like the commercial? That's because they use non-food props to make the food look better than it is. So I saw another video on YouTube, you can check it out, where they actually use glue instead of cheese in some of those commercials. So it looks stretchier and more delicious, but it's not really cheese. All right. So keep that in mind when you're watching these sensual things with the commercials. that they're trying to make it as tantalizing as possible for your foods. And what they want to do is they want to get into your decision moment. So it's important for you to consider when you're seeing these commercials, what do I want? What do I want for myself? Um, Next, you can look at how you feel about the commercial, how that provokes you, and what that makes you think about. So, some of the things that you might become conscious of when you start to think about how do I feel about this commercial, you'd be like, wow, they make that pizza look good. Maybe I'll get that someday soon. Or say all of these food commercials look good. Maybe I'm getting hungry, right? Or you can say pizza time. You just get whatever they're advertising immediately. And so when you start to think about how you are interacting with that commercial, you have a lot more power and leverage in taking ownership of your choice with it. Click like if this is making sense to you so far. And then if you're like me, you can ruin all the commercials, or it can be fun too, talking about what you're seeing, what they are trying to tell you to do, or what they're pointing out about the benefits of their product. Talk about these things with family and friends so you recognize, like, oh, like this is what they're doing with advertising. And so if you're also in business, you can make better ads for yourself. You can also understand how these companies are trying to influence your choices. And it can help you with persuasion. Anytime you're trying to make someone see it your way, you can be like, well, this is very appealing and this is how. And you understand it because you've studied it from more things. There are lots of benefits to this, but in terms of not letting food ads control you, all this is very valuable. And I want to go on to say that commercials can be compelling, but however, you are in charge of your execution. You are in control. You're supposed to be in control. I hope this helps you get into control. You have to take ownership of these choices when it comes to these food ads. All right. And that's something to think about when it comes to your health overall, is that, like, yes, the environment is a huge factor. I have experience in public health. I know that it's not so straightforward. However, people manage with the same commercials in that environment. So it's actually possible to be less responsive to the commercials. If you're struggling with like seeing a commercial and then immediately going for that product, it's possible to be less responsive. You just have to have a different process, a different approach, a more elevated, thoughtful approach to how you're going into it. So, what you need here, three things that I think you need: vision, why you want to make these changes, and how important it is to you in terms of making this food process. Like, why do you want to order this food or not order this food if it's counter to your health goals, if you are trying to lose weight or eat healthier, any of that? Why do you want to do that? And how important is it? Also, with the vision, you want to have enough trust and confidence that you can do it. So if you have a track record of blowing off your diet or not sticking with it, or trying an all or nothing approach and then giving up and failing and feeling like something's wrong with you, that's all going to kind of hurt your confidence that you can do it. What you want to do is build that confidence back up, possibly by taking smaller steps. One way to do that, or if you are confident, you still want, you'll build more confidence by knowing what to do next in increments. That's what this next part's about: focus, knowing what to do, making your intermediate choices realistic, enjoyable, and easy enough, and knowing what intermediate success looks like. Now, some people don't have this. They just see something immediately, like, I'm going keto straight on forever. And then they don't really understand what that looks like, how they're going to feel a few days later, um, what kind of food planning and meal prep they have to do for that. So then that makes it more difficult. All right. So knowing what to do that works for you, what you want to do, fits into that first part I talked about. And then making intermediate choices realistic, enjoyable, and easy enough. Right. So if it is you meal prep twice a week, then making it so it's easy to meal prep twice a week. You have a menu. I have a menu available below. You can buy your groceries more readily. It makes it easier when you make those intermediate choices realistic. So it's not just the big picture, like, I want to lose 30 pounds. It's like, okay, what steps do I have to take in order to make that happen? And then knowing what intermediate success looks like beyond that, when you're looking at like a big picture goal, like, I want to lose 30 pounds, you have to recognize that you're not going to lose 30 pounds overnight. It takes time and a process to be sustainable. And sometimes that looks like your weight stays the same for consecutive days and you start to wonder if you're doing it right. Or, it might be more challenging with the food urges that you have than you initially expected. Knowing to look out for that, knowing that's coming up, is knowing what intermediate success looks like. It's not always a straight path and you always know that everything you're doing is going to work perfectly. You have to recognize what is correct and what's also, on the other hand, not correct, so you can make adjustments and stay on track with what your goals are. So that's what focus is. Third part you need is practice. While new habits are formed, make timely adjustments when things don't go well. And people miss the practice part probably most crucially because something comes up one time, they run into an obstacle, and then they just, well, that was it. I tried. And then they don't make any adjustments or they make unrealistic adjustments and that they can't keep. And then they get discouraged and they quit because it hurts to try something and fail at it several times if you don't understand the practice. So that's why it's so valuable to have the practice while new habits are formed so you can get into it, establish a new routine, let the old routine go away. It doesn't really serve you. It got you to where you are today. That's fine. Thank you very much. And then you let that go and in with a new habit that matches what you want to do, what the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like. And then making adjustments so you know, like, all right, let's make a little tweak here, see what we can do differently in order to bring us closer to our goal. And that's what I do with the guilt-free game plan. You can learn about that in the description below. We just build that vision, focus, and practice. So you have a plan, you know what steps to take, and then you can continue to take them incrementally without giving up or feeling bad about yourself. It's guilt-free. So don't forget that part. Okay, so that's today's message. That's how you stop letting food ads control you. When you have the vision, focus, and practice, you understand better what the ads are signaling to you, and you can make more informed choices so you can take confident ownership of your path to freedom and fitness and lead the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. I hope you hear me when I say this in like every video. And if you like it, if this is a good reminder, click subscribe, tell a friend. And then next you can watch the video I just made, the thoughtful way to stop food cravings. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. As always, keep practicing. Peace.